acknowledge your presence. You are the leader of leaders and you are here today with us. We praise you for who you are. We acknowledge your grace upon our lives and we are thankful to you, Father, for calling us and for giving us this wonderful and awesome privilege to gather as a people who are committed to sharpen their leadership skills. Thank you, Father, for all that you will do here today. Thank you for everyone that is on their way. Thank you, Father, for the Holy Spirit that you have given and who is really present in each and every one of us and in this place. Lord, we thank you for your leadership. We commit this session into your hands. We thank you for your peace. We just release upon every speaker, upon every participant, your divine grace. That today is going to be an exceptional session. That this is going to be a time like never before. At the end of the year is going to be the propeller into 2024 in the name of Jesus. We are ready and there is no distraction whatsoever. We are committed. Our minds are in sync with what God wants to do in this place today. Father, our hearts are in tune with what you are about to say. Our lives, oh Lord, are falling in pleasant places. We are alert. We are here not just in body but in spirit and in soul. We thank you because, Lord, there is going to be such a presence and an anointing in this place today. It's not going to be leadership by the flesh, but it's going to be a leadership that, Lord, it will indeed be an intuition from the Spirit, that you will lead us and you will guide us, and that, Lord, every single person that will participate in this session today will approach 2025, will approach their visions with a whole different peace, because you would have been here. And we would stand at the end of the day and say, glory, hallelujah to your name, because it is all about you. For from you are all things, and to you are all things. And you deserve all the glory. And we give you praise, and we give you honor. And it's in the name of Jesus we have prayed with thanksgiving. Amen. Amen.
Somebody say, from vision to legacy.
From vision to legacy.
We are building our future. Okay, so before we start, we're going to go for breakfast. It is actually a leadership breakfast. The breakfast is an important part.
I want to thank the brain behind this platform, who gives us the opportunity every month to come and sharpen ourselves, every month to come and inspire ourselves. The journey of entrepreneurship is hard. Mr. 𝗨𝗶𝗱𝗄, raising your business is hard, it's difficult, right? And sometimes you're in a place where you feel like, you know what is this nonsense? Let me quit this thing and just go and get my job and sit there. Or, why am I doing this job? Because he told us last time for the young people, go and work, right? But we have this space every quarter where we come together to build ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to be encouraged, to be fortified. And today, I want us to honor and to clap and to thank God for this man, Coach Pastor Silas Coach. about is, it says, this is not the woman that is walking behind me, it's the woman that walks beside me. And there is a woman that walks beside Pastor Silas. We have a continent to transform. All of us are part of that process. For too long, we have thought that our parents will be the ones to do it. But hey, newsflash, guess what? We are the ones we have been waiting for. It's no longer the government, it's no longer the colonial masters, it's all gone. It's not time for blame games anymore. It's time for us to fold our sleeves and start building. And we're not just going to build, we have talked about building. A lot of people have started initiatives. But one of the things that has been bothering us in our spirits to see that, how come visions don't outlive a generation? Why is it that guarantee works well, the minute the man is gone, it starts spoiling? We've seen initiatives that have popped up in Moliko. Very soon you see billboards come up. But then, some 2 years later, they start going down. What is going on? What is happening? Beautiful visions, they pitch it to you, you know that this is an amazing vision. It even starts and it kicks off the ground and it's going so well. But then a few years later, it starts crashing. What is happening? What is the reason? How can we build businesses that will last? How can we build businesses that will outlast us? That will outlive us? That when we are gone, we may not be there, but then the spirit will still be very present and the vision will expand. I was reading a book on by 𝗨𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗂, passing it on, and he said success is actually taken from a word, succession. Success is not about the buildings you build, it's not about the things that you construct. It's your ability to transfer. Can you transfer that which you're building? That is the measure, the true measure of success. Who are you mentoring? Who is going to take over when you go? Who is going to take over in the few years to come? That vision that you're building, can it be multiplied? I asked myself that question this morning and I'm like, can I have a branch of royalty world? Am I ready for that? Am I equipped to do this? It's easy to focus on building a business, but what is priority? What is priority? So it's time for us to think about that. It's time for us to think about succession, and I believe that today we are here with one of the finest minds in leadership, and I'm sure that you will leave here today with questions answered. We will leave here today with questions answered. All of us want to build something that will outlive us. 𝗨𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗂 shared a very powerful story, and he was sharing about John Austin. We all know him. We know Joel Austin probably. But Joel Austin actually succeeded his father. His father was critically sick. Joel Austin apparently had been working for the father for 17 years. Behind the scenes, putting his videos together. And Joel Austin is a man who picked up a vision from a feed store. A feed store is like poultry. Just imagine like he came and made an old poultry. And that's where he started. And today he created a multicultural church. In a short space of time, he has inspired many, given so many people hope and restored vision in the lives of many. But then towards his last days, he was not feeling very sound, and he called his son and asked his son to take on the pulpit. For 17 years, he's been working with the father, and he had never stood to speak, and that was the first time. And his father said, just take over from me while I'm, recovering. A few days later, he went home to be with the Lord. And he tried to understand that was a setup. It was actually him taking over. And now this man who had never spoken before, who had never stood before, but then his father had been building him in the background. And today, the vision did not die, the vision multiplied. 𝗨𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗂 is gone, but we read his books. We still draw wisdom from him because he dares to think about passing it on, documenting everything that he does. I ask myself the question today, is my philosophy written down? Do people know what I believe? Who can take over from me? Am I planning that? And I just want us to, each time that we meet here, it's time for us to get inspired, to awaken ourselves, to encourage ourselves to overcome challenges, and we also want to grow And again, today, John Maxwell says something. He says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So, today, I want us to think about a few questions. And I want to remind us, as I said before, that this nation is waiting for us. The topic of today is from vision to legacy. And it prompts us to look and to reflect on some critical questions which I want us to think about throughout this session. The first thing is, what is priority? Is it the investment in the business, investment in the people who run the business? Is it priority to invest in the business or to invest in the people who run the business? And how do you define success? What is the definition of success? Something to think about today. Is our succession guaranteed? Is there somebody who can take over from us? Is your succession guaranteed? Who will take over? When we are gone, will that business stay on 5 years from now? The way we are running it, is it going to stay on 5 years from now? How prepared are we for the next generation? Are we building something that the next generation will benefit from? Can our venture outlive us? I'd like us to just think through those questions, and I'm sure that throughout this session, those questions will be answered. The sad and the very, very big reality is that we are now our fathers. It's scary, right? It's very scary to realize that we no longer have fathers to look up to. You know? Yeah, they are looking up to us now. These people are retired and they're sitting down. So we are now the fathers of this nation. Yeah. So people are coming left. And our kids going to like what we believe. Those are key things that we have to think about. It's very critical that we remember. I firmly believe that this is a transition generation. We are awakening to that reality that our nation will not change in spite of us. It will change because of us. So our nation will change because of us. And because of you, because of me. Each and every one of us hold a building block. We constitute a building block to this nation. And today, we are committed to build these initiatives and to contribute to the transformation of our world. I firmly know. Are we all sitting here? We are aware of that, and again, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. So let's open our minds today and learn how to feel.
The legacy of Nelson Mandela is not in the presidency that he became. The legacy was started in prison. So what we see as the external achievement is nothing. The core of the legacy was in who the person was. And the impact he had on people at that very close range is unimaginable. We just know him from the story we heard. But what listening to these very intimate stories begins to give you an idea of the kind of person that he was. So yes, I like sharing this story when I talk about this topic from building legacy, because it really kind of gives perspective on what it means to build a lasting legacy. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you know. And so yeah, this Nelson Mandela story, it brings up the things that I got to experience, and it marked me in a very unique way till date. I don't get tired of telling this story, because I'm not sure you can even get tired of listening to this. Because after a few while, you listen to it again, you're like, am I sure I'm really that close? In the way I see myself, in the way I envision the impact I want to give on people. See, his vision was beyond just having some big name as president. It was in the impact that would like to do one of our 9 sessions, that your legacy lives in people. And you see this man, Nelson Mandela's legacy was living in him. Even he was not president, his legacy was in him. And these people, so what we have lots of those experiences. You see people telling us very interesting stories about him that you will not hear it in the news. And so you don't know why it's not extraordinary. It was not just hype. The character of the man was extraordinary. Just from that statement and the beats. that always tells you that no, this is different. Okay? So, are we still here?
Yeah.
Alright, and that was just an introduction to what I was saying. Alright. So let's get into it now, alright? So, like I said, the last legacy is a testament of the power of leadership, right? And the impact that one person can have on the world. And then as we reflect on this story, we are also reminded that building a lasting legacy is not easy. Is it easy? It's not easy at all. In fact, like I always like to do during this session, I like to quote numbers.
Give us the numbers.
Let me give you the numbers. Alright? So it is said that according to a study by Harvard Business Review, it says only 30% of companies achieve sustained success over a 10-year period. 18%. So statistically, for every 100 companies, only 13 will sustain after 10 years. Put the organization, put the anything, right? Put the church. The statistics will almost be the same. Only 13% sustain for over a 10-year period. It says a survey by the Center for Creative Leadership found that 60% of leaders believe that leadership is important, but they believe that only 30% have a plan for achieving it. Only 30%. Why most of us believe, like right here we're talking about leadership, we all believe it, but not everybody has a plan for that legacy. And that works, as I showed. But then it also says that the research done by the 𝗙𝗏𝗋𝗀 companies, which is leadership development company, says that a strong sense of purpose and legacy outperform those without one. So organizations that have a strong sense of purpose and legacy outperform those who don't have by 400%. 400%. It's not even about the product or service. It's this strong sense of purpose that guides, that actually determines the success of certain organization. And that's what research has proven. Also, another study by the conference board found that 60% of CEOs believe that their organization's culture is not aligned with their strategy, making it difficult to build a lasting legacy. If you're leading any organization, you will probably have come across this challenge. When the culture of the people is not aligning with where you want to go, and you need to do something about it. And that survey says that 70% of leaders believe that the biggest challenge to building a lasting legacy is the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. True, circumstances are always changing, but not everybody has the ability to adapt. You know, when I go back to the story of Nelson Mandela, requesting for firewood, that is some different level of adaptation. How do you go from requesting for firewood and they refuse it and then you turn it into a medical prescription? What kind of thinking is that? You get it. That was like, you don't start to adapt to situations in ways that you cannot imagine. You know. And of course, the benefits are there, which is why we're here, because we want to experience those benefits. It says that a research done by the James Collins Research Lab found that companies that focus on building a lasting legacy outperform those that focus on short-term gains by 6 times. You know, there is a tendency to that. And it says that leaders who focus on building a positive legacy are more likely to inspire loyalty and commitment from their team. So, if you're to inspire loyalty and commitment, is based on leaders who are really focused on building a positive legacy. Now, I mean, the research is there. But what we are here is how do we need to be in that positive side of the research thing. Alright? So, that brings me to what I want to talk about very briefly in the next few minutes. I began working on this framework, which I feel is a good way to start this process of building a legacy. It's not very complicated. It's a very simple thing. It's just a discipline to do it intentionally. So, I began working on this, a guy that can help us in building a positive legacy. Very simple. Number one is the thing that we talk about every day, and sometimes we think we talk about it enough. It is what? uncovering your unique identity. Everything starts from who we are, knowing who we are. If you don't really know yourself, and knowing yourself is not knowing your name, knowing where you were born, all of that. It's being on a constant quest of peeling out the layers. We are like onions, right? We human beings, we are like onions. They say there are layers upon layers of yourself that you don't know. And so at some point in time, you're peeling, when you're discovering yourself, it's like you're peeling an onion, right? When you move one layer, you discover something fresh about that onion. But that's not all. When you move another layer, you discover another dimension. So, self-discovery is a very crucial thing in finding out your passion and knowing exactly what you want out of life. Before you even think about what organization or what business you want to do, you need to know who you are. And that has to be a constant search. And sometimes you think you know until life shows up. How many of you can understand that one? You think you know until life shows up and like, I don't know, I know. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, was that me? Is it me that is doing this? Because you think you know yourself. So it's something that you have to constantly do. That's always the first step. Self-discovery is so powerful. And I can tell you stories about this. But time will not permit. The more I discover myself, the more I realize that some of the challenges I was having is just because I don't know me. Right? If you know you will know you. Alright? So it's a very important thing, and both the young and the old, this is a journey that we must always constantly be involved in. Okay? The second one, of course, is what we talk about, vision. Most times we start here and skip step 1. And then we realize that as we are going with step 2, step 1 is drawing us back. So you can't go without me. Right? So step 2 is starting a compelling vision. And I'm very particular about the word compelling. Because this vision is compelling is a different thing altogether. Right? The Bible says that without vision, the scripture that says without vision, people wander without restraint. Yes, there's no discipline. It's not any kind of vision. People have vision, they are still careless. You see, have vision, they are not disciplined. Then when you have a compelling vision, you won't sleep. Right? When you have a compelling vision, it drives you. Right? Your circumstances are not enough to stop you, because what you're seeing is not what is around. It is coming from a deep core of who you are. So once you have that vision, you should be able to set clear priorities. And trust me, your priorities they are not many. Right? You see, like everything is a priority, it means nothing is. You don't just know what you want yet. Once you know, you see your priorities begin to. In fact, you say that your vision is clear, your options are limited. Yeah? When your vision is clear, your options are limited. Because that's what we translate into. Once you have a clear vision, is translated into priorities, because all of a sudden, you start reducing your options. Because not everything that is for you. Yeah. And of course, once you are able to do that, then step 4 becomes very, very necessary. And this, is so key. Building a supportive network, relationships. You see, this life is run on relationships. As much as you know what you know, who you know will determine what you know will do to your life. Do you understand what I'm saying? What you know is good, but who you know will determine how far what you know will go. Yes. So having strong relationships is very vital for success. And I shared a bit of this in the last session. I'm not talking about relationships. If you have a business or something you're trying to start, this relationship are not your employees. These are your deep confidants, your mentors, your close friends, your coaches, and those people that you're being on a journey with, who understands where you're coming from, who you are, and where you're going. You need to have those kind of relationships. People that can see beyond the obvious. Right? People People that can even see when you are not being you. And then move this fake, this new thing that you have worn like that, this dress like that. This is not you. You understand? People that can save you from yourself. Do you have those kind of people?
I have.
That can save you from yourself. I'm sorry, they don't understand what we're talking about. They don't know what we're talking about. Because let me tell you something about these people. This number 4. You see that vision that I mentioned before? If you don't have these people, you see that very vision? You kill. Because it's these people that will make sure that that thing that you're pursuing happens. Right? And make sure that it happens and you arrive. Because they are there to save you from yourself. So this supporting network is not any kind of network. They are people that they are the core. These are your board, your life board of directors. Right? These are your life board of directors. It's not your board of directors in your business. No, it's your life. You need that. So, if you're, remember what you're talking about legacy, right? This is the step. You need this because without that, look, listen, you can be so sure about the vision you have, so clear about where you're going, and still be greatly misled. Not by other people, by yourself. You understand? That's why you need, you can talk a lot about this, but just understand that this is important. So you need to support the community, people that you have good relationship with. It's very vital for success. And it is only when you have done step 1 to 4 that step 5 to 7 that I'm about to give you to make sense. Right? And what is step 5? Assemble your dream team. Alright? Like I said, this is not the same like the previous one. These are the people that you surround yourself with to execute that which you're dreaming of. In a sense of a business, it might look like maybe the staff that you're working with, the people that work with you, right? In the sense of one project, it might look like the people that you recruit to carry out that thing that you're trying to do, like that's your team. Of course, there's work to be done to it because that team, at the end of the day, will be the ones that will run with the legacy you're building. You get that? These people that you're assembling, they are the ones that will run with the vision. The legacy is in their hands. It's in their hands. So it is very important to learn how to assemble your dream team. Very different from the first one. Okay? And in my experience, this is what I've discovered. Most times, you start assembling things out of the relationship with the number 4. Because most times, the people that are your board, they can see beyond what you can see. They can tell you people that you need for this thing to work that you don't know about. Does that make sense? And let me put it very practically. I know that we complain a lot about there's no work, there's no job, all of that. But most times it comes through recommendation. Right? And how does that work? If I know Pastor Boris, we are in a very close relation, I understand his heart, where he's going. I know what his vision is. Right? It's not only him that needs to look for somebody to work for him. I can. Yeah, I can come in contact with someone based on who this person is and where he's going. I know exactly this is the perfect person to work for us. And I tell them, you know what? This guy should work with you because he's the right person that can help you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. That is another dimension of recruitment that we don't know. It eases the stress for you. The people that I work with, they know the kind of people that I need and they can recommend them to me. And the people that I have a good relationship with, I can say, you know what, I found this person that is a good person. So in this part, it also is influenced by number 4. Okay? Very important. Most of us, we are where we are because somebody recommended us. Right? Yeah. So, but as a visionary, you need to understand that you must assemble your duty. Also, I don't put it in a very funny way. Sometimes, if someone is bringing in front, bringing right here. So, sometimes, sometimes the people that you work with, right? Because if you're talking about building a legacy, you're building like a family. Okay? So, it looks like this. If I, for example, in my case, the person that works with me, right? Doris knows the person, knows my vision. Sometimes I don't need to talk to the person, she can talk to the person and say, you see this thing you're doing? That's not what Silas has. I know what that does to my vision. Safety. Because I have people that know where I'm going, that can even help me in putting my team together. So that's something I discovered that is very powerful. I mean, I used to work with Mr. 𝗨𝗶𝗶𝗃 many years ago. Up to now, when he wants to start, he will still call me. He will still come and say, look for somebody. He says, I know that he has to have to put advert. He said, the person you recommend is the person I want to hire. Why? Because he understands how much, what he's building is important. It's a legacy he's building, and the kind of people that should come should be people that have been vetted by the people that know what he is building. So, as a person, you need to know that you have a system that helps you bring the right people to work with you. The right people to work with you. It's very important. And then, of course, once you're able to do that, the next thing now is what? You must build that team, right? You have to invest in those people. Effective leadership involves empowering others, right? So once you're able to start expanding that team, you must invest in building the team. Because like I said, your legacy lives on people. So if you're not invested in building people, you lose this. And now, number 7, culture. Yes, the famous statement that culture is strategy for breakfast. Culture is very important. The kind of environment that you create, especially as leaders of organization, is very important in your legacy. It's very important. Culture is sometimes because of the pressure to achieve results, we can take shortcuts. Right? We can underestimate the kind of culture we are building because of the results we want. But if you see that culture, it will determine the end of whatever you're building. So culture is very important. What kind of environment do you create in this thing that you're building, in this organization that you lead, this business? Culture is all up. And like I said, this whole training on how to do culture. It's not just saying our values are authenticity, our values are this. No, it's wanting to say that I'm nothing for you to be part of the culture of the organization. It's like going to the, how I go to some office and say, no crime. Is that the culture of the place? For where? No, it's not. Culture is not something you write and put on your board. It's not something you write. No, it's something you build. You see? Yeah. It's something you must intentionally build, because that is what will create the environment for the vision to flourish. Because the moment you're not there, culture will keep it going. Yes? Cultures will keep it going. I always like to give an example. You know, you can always say that there's corruption, people bribe police there and there. But if you take somebody from this country, just drop the person for UK. Easy police in the air. I'm like, why? Culture. Culture has constrained its corruption. So, culture is very important in building a lasting legacy. You must invest in that once you are at this stage of your process. And of course, the last thing is everything else I've mentioned. Basically, what I've just mentioned is not a one-time thing. It's about continuously refining the process and advancing as you go. So, in the onion, you built it, you got an understanding of who you are, you have a sense of direction with the vision you're going, and then you're beginning to set priorities, You've got to do that process over and over and over. As you do it, that's how it gets clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. Which is why, like as well was mentioning the vision quest that we organize every year, because that's the heart behind it. Because people have vision, but when you run for 1 year with it gets a bit crowded. It's like it picks up things that it's not supposed to pick, and you need to come back to a space to rethink, to reflect, to refine, and remove the dirt that this thing has gathered along the way, because it's been a busy year. That's what the process of refining. So to refine means constantly putting yourself routines and systems that will make you go back to rediscovering yourself, refining your vision, setting your priorities, and refining even the core thing that you have, that support system. Always checking, is the support system still the support system that I need? Is it still doing what it's supposed to? And how much are you contributing to it, and how much is it contributing to you? Because again, people can change, people can move. You want to be sure that you're working with the same people. Because sometimes, just as the people you work with can help you succeed in what you're trying to do, they can also make you fail. That's how powerful it is. So that's why it's important to always do that. So that's basically what these steps are. Every other thing else you can figure. You can figure out what kind of business you want to do. You can figure out what kind of growth you want to do. Then in order to build a lasting legacy, these steps still apply. If you are doing all of that and you're not doing this, you won't miss it. So, if you do these 8 things well, you'll be on your way to create a meaningful impact and leave it a lasting legacy. Master them and apply them continuously. And that is what I have for us this morning.
One more time, can you give it up for
after this kind of session, what an honor and a privilege to be surrounded by this kind of this caliber of men. You see why I say we're a transition generation, right? You understand what I mean by that, right? That we're a transition generation. Africa is waiting for 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 People say they can't go back or sell and divide money. They should sell it that. If I will buy it, when I want to sell it, buy it. Because we know what is there. We know what is there. So if anyone is planning to sell, please, we want to invest. Because we believe in this nation. We believe in what God is doing here. We believe that God is raising amazing people who have compelling visions. And Pastor Silas talked about compelling visions. It's not just a vision, but it's a compelling vision. So I would start by asking both of them to just share with us what their vision is. What is their organizational vision? We have heard introductions about them, but I just want from their own mouth to hear what is their vision, and also to tell us what they believe is the role of a compelling vision in sustainability, that's building a legacy. What is really the role of a compelling vision? So, Mr. Boris, I'll start with you.
Thank you very much. This question is very simple but difficult. I would say that my vision is to, I'm looking for the simplest way to put it.
5 years ago was easier.
Yes, 5 years ago it was easier, 10 years ago it was easier. But right now, my vision is to really see people living a complete, a fulfilled, and a transformative life. In every form, when it comes to their spiritual life, their emotional life, their financial life, their health, and the result is that when people are living that kind of a life, it's going to be reflected to the transformation of our society. I believe that our society is where it is right now because it's a reflection of the people. We have created what we are seeing right now. And so I believe that if we are able to fix the person, help the person align with who they are, equip them to be able to discover their unique identity, empower them on how they can translate that into sustainable solutions around them, then we can create heaven on earth. We can return back to the Garden of Eden, as the Bible says, where the environment becomes a reflection of heaven because man has been transformed. So that's a summary of my vision. And so if what you're calling a vision is not something that you are equipped to fulfill, you will not be compelled to do anything about it. So number one, a compelling vision is a vision that comes from the inside out. You were equipped to do this, and then you create a vision to manifest it. I also believe that a compelling vision must be time-bound. If you don't have a specific time limit that you want to be able to fulfill your vision, you are going to be dreaming. So right now, when I look at the vision of my life, I'm beginning to put a time-bound. So when we are talking about, let's say, transformation of 𝗏𝘀𝗧, what is the time-bound? When you say we want to transform 𝗏𝘀𝗧 in 5 years, that vision suddenly takes a different meaning. It doesn't just become something like, oh, we are seeing a transformed 𝗏𝘀𝗧. We are now saying in 5 years, this town will be transformed. So I believe a compelling vision should have a time bound. I think also a compelling vision should be measurable. So when we talk about, for example, transformation of 𝗏𝘀𝗧, what are we talking about? Where do we want to be transformed? But when you say we want to be able to see transformation in the lives of families, or in the lives of businesses, or in the lives of our educational sector, and the more specific your vision is, and you make your vision specific by identifying specific demographics, people, specific places. In fact, to even make it more compelling is that in 5 years we want to eradicate poverty in the lives of 20 families in 𝗏𝘀𝗧 town. Now that is a more specific, compelling vision. And in summary, a compelling vision is a vision that you can be able to measure over time. And right now, I want to end by challenging you with this question. Can you measure the extent of the fulfillment of your vision? From the time you wrote that vision down, can you estimate, okay, I'm 30% God, 50% God, 90% God? Or is it just something you are hoping to achieve? There's a difference between hope, imagination, desire, and a vision. For it to become a compelling vision, it must come from inside of you. It must be a vision you are able to fulfill. It must be time-bound, and it must be highly specific for you to be able to fulfill.
These are the God of my life. When you hear the board of my life, you know when my life is going the way it's going. Yes. The board of directors in my life. So I'm blessed to have this kind of board of directors who just speak so much wisdom. In 2016, we dared to have a crazy, when he's talking, then I began to realize what God was doing in our lives in 2016. We had started this. You know, this is our legacy. Please clap for us, I think. It's not easy to have people that you've been working with for 11 years. 2013. I was appreciating God the other day and realizing that we used to meet in Rebel Restaurant every Sunday. So when you see us working together, don't think, those people, and you think, you begin to beat yourself why you cannot understand some other people you're working with right now. I was telling Pastor Silas that the other day, that I just realized I'm expecting a lot more from some other people I started working with. Not realizing that the reason I understand you so well is because you can almost finish some of my sentences and I can do the same for you, right? Because why? You know what it means to meet with people every single Sunday for 5 years, every Sunday. We met, we prayed together, we spoke together, we sharpened our voices together, we helped each other discover ourselves. And that's something that young people should learn. I share this because I want young people to be able to learn and create that kind of culture. When you meet the people, you meet your tribe, you meet the people that are your network, make sure that you create that kind of environment where you sharpen yourself, build one another. And that's where we are. And after we had worked together for some time, 2013, we started doing a lot of things. In 2016, we said, you know what, we're going to put our energies together and focus on 𝗏𝘀𝗧. I'm sure anybody who knows me knows that I'm a 𝗏𝘀𝗧. We thought, let's put this energy into one community
and give ourselves a 10-year plan. And I'm just discovering that 2026 is around the corner. And at the time, I remember saying that we wanted to raise at least 300 social entrepreneurs or leaders, 300 social entrepreneurs and transformational leaders who would build their communities, who would ensure that we have thriving, prosperous, and sustainable communities. And I think I can start counting, and I think that we are on our way, right? I'm just seeing that we're on our way. So it's a powerful thing for the vision to be compelling. You said it has to be from the inside out. You've got to know, like you know that this is what I was born for. You've got to be time bound, give it a deadline, because there's something that deadline just does. It wakes you up. You're like, hey, 2026 is coming. I'm going to approach 2025 very different because I know that I have a 2026 deadline. There's some indicators I need to tick. You understand? So it's just awakening me. Thank you for sharing that. It really awakens me, and it's measurable and it's specific, right? You are specific. We decided to be very specific. We wanted to go to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Everyone who knows me and knows how we share your vision with me, I take it down there. Don't go and do it already. Come, let's do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 first. Let's test all the things in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, see how it works. Then now we can go. Because, we have so many wonderful ideas, but if we focus and concentrate in one community, then we can now have, and Pastor Boris knows it. I've told him I'm coming for him this year. We have to build a system around this thing. This thing has got to work in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Then we'll take it over to other communities. And as I would also just tell to you and, the same question. And I really just want you to focus on how this, a compelling vision really helps in organizational growth.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. I thought you would ask me what's a compelling vision. I have an answer already. That's what I was saying.
Of course, the first question was, what is your compelling vision? You need to share that with us first. Okay. Yes.
Okay, my compelling vision.
Your compelling vision.
I thought I had skipped that. I think for me, again, my compelling vision stems from two things. Is that it focuses on the person as an individual, and it focuses on the impact that person can bring through their leadership. Alright, and the way I came to coin it is really for people to live fully, and from that place lead powerfully. So that's the summary of it. And what does that really mean? It means that I really want to see people, just like I'm sharing, come out from their false identities and embrace who they truly are, and just live it first. Being able to be the real you that is you, and then from that place, lead. From that place, lead and lead powerfully, because it's there that your leadership begins to take real form. Sometimes we are forced to I'm saying that in terms of the organization from there. That's really the core. That's why we are it's so primordial for us to always pull people away, pull them, because it is that part of you must live fully, you must be full, you must be whole before you can lead. And it will always be bringing people back to that place. Because if you don't discover yourself and become all that you're designed to be, it's really a cap on your leadership. It's a cap on your leadership. And so that's, for me, the vision is, if we can see a nation of people, right, who have become into the fullness of who they are, they have discovered who they are, their purpose and everything, and they lead from that place. There's a difference. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate my brother here, Mr. Bocho Samuel. And the reason why I'm acknowledging that is because I think I've observed him for a while, and I've seen an aspect of what I'm talking about. He runs his organization, the Peace Academy. I'm sure when he started, like, what new one is this? What is this one? What is this whole initiative? What is it? You see? who is this person running the whole organization based on peace? Like, what in the world? But I understood that it is based on discovering who he is. You know, when you understand who you are, then it begins to inform what you do. And people might not understand where you're going with whatever thing you're building. It's not for them to understand. You see, it is for you to be true to yourself and then powerfully pursue that vision. Lead it in a way that everybody knows that this is not just something, it is you. It is an expression of who you are. And that's what I see. You know, when you look at Doris, when you look at what she does, it's not just, it's an expression of who she is. It's an expression that, like Pastor Red was saying, the purpose must be designed for the vision. Right? You were created for it to be compelling. You know, it's not a trending thing. No, it's not because it's the thing that is trending. It's because it's what you were designed for. That's what makes a vision compelling. Yes.
Awesome. I told you again, I introduced you to the board of directors of my life.
My life.
Skin is allowed, okay? If you're a proprietor, you understand the meaning of skin. Yes, so I'm so inspired. And I feel like the young people here, when we hear things like that, there is a kind of pressure you feel in starting something. But this is not just about you starting something. It is about you plugging yourself into something that you resume. Because not everybody is called to start something. I'm really preaching that gospel in this season because a lot of young people are going astray. And we are trying our best to think that no, you know, everybody wants to become an entrepreneur, everybody wants to start an NGO, everybody wants to start something. You have a small little vision in your room and then you think, no, I'm going to start my own thing. And that is why we're where we are. But true leadership identifies someone who carries the same thing that God has put in my heart. There are things I will not do because why would I be struggling with other personalities who really put the platform and set the stage for it? I desire to do these things. I plug and partner with him and achieve it. Even though I run my own organization, I know sometimes people don't understand whether I work for a lead from the heart or personalities work for 𝗏𝗏𝗏 or you know, it's challenging for people to know that. But when I serve for lead from the heart, I'm serving lead from the heart. When people get to me for opportunities and I know that this is a lead from the heart opportunity, I don't now create a product. No, I just tell them that no, there's a partner organization that I work with and we're going to do this under this organization. And that's the way it works. I think the young people need to be able to really learn that. We need to submit ourselves to be able to get into somebody's vision. Work for it, that you know what, get in there, bring all those ideas to the table. Yeah, but you know, I was so proud of someone like Melanie the other day. We started the Transformation Leadership Academy breakfast, and he told me, Mom, I've done my own video, and he sent it to me. He's doing his own video to invite people to the leadership breakfast. You find very few young people who can just plug in and be selfless. Today I met him at the road there. Mom, I'm waiting for some people. I'm trying to gather people, and he's making phone calls and wants people to come for this breakfast. That is the kind of leadership that we are looking at. People who can plug in. People who can plug in. So young people don't try to want to do your own thing. There are already visions that are doing that thing. Just plug into it and be able to get it. I'll get to Pastor Boris now. What are the essential building blocks for a sustainable legacy, Mr. Boris? I know Pastor Silas has shared a lot already, but I'm talking now from the perspective of a business. And I'll just add another question to it, like how do leaders now balance short-term goals with their long-term vision?
That's a very good question. And the whole and you know, when I was looking at the statistics that Pastor Silas was sharing, the reason why the statistics is low for the businesses that really get to create a legacy, I think it's because of a lack of understanding of what that legacy really is. And one I want to simplify in terms of an organization is a legacy is not necessarily the products you're producing. So we want to create a legacy. Our legacy is that we are producing whatever we are producing, books or dresses or application, whatever. And so some leaders think that our legacy is the products. That if we can do more of the products, that is our legacy. But the more I've studied about the whole issue of legacy over the years, I discovered that the core of legacy is replicating your most powerful value systems into the next generation so that they can sustain that which you started. Because everything you are creating is coming from a set of values and belief systems. And the products might be the same, might be different, but they might be standing on the same value systems. And if you want to be able to create a legacy as a leader, you need to first of all look on the inside and ask yourself, what are the values that make me who I am? What are my building blocks? Value systems can be likened to the skeleton. You see, your skeleton sustains your physical body. Your value system sustains your soul, your mind, and your spirit. It is a very framework that makes you who you are. It is what carries everything else that you are doing. And so as a leader, when you're starting, of course, when you're starting a business or organization or anything, you want to be able to survive. So most of the time, your goal is to be able to, let's produce something, let's produce things, let's sell, let's be doing some activities, let it be moving. But when you begin to think in terms of the long term, you want to be able to say, what makes me who I am? So if it's Boris, what makes Boris who I am? Who am I? What are my core belief systems? I believe in working in your identity. I believe in excellence. I believe in integrity. I believe in empathy. I believe in generosity. I believe in hard work. I believe in creativity. I believe in perseverance. Because everything else that's built is coming from that core belief system. And as a leader, you want to transfer that to the next generation. So you build your organization and create spaces or platforms through which you are pouring yourself into the people. Yeah. And you measure your success as a leader by how many people look like you after a period of time. And when I mean look like you, I'm not talking physically. I'm talking they carry the heart. And I think that's why I talk about leading from the heart. They carry your heart. Your heart are the values that make you who you are. And the more people you can replicate and you can transfer the very essence of who you are, then you can guarantee longevity and legacy in the long term. Even if the organization might change their vision, but when the value system remains, it will continue. Yeah. Because guess what? As times changes, as the economy changes, as society changes, any organization will have to morph. They might have to change organizational structure, change products, change the things that they are doing, but the main values will remain and will keep empowering that. But if you see your legacy as a product, when that product has run its course and has become irrelevant for that time and season, the organization dies. Because you thought your organization was based on what you were producing rather than who you were producing. What you are producing and who you are producing. Your legacy is in who you are producing and not what you are producing. Because who you are producing are the ones that will continue. And I think that was the power and the legacy of Jesus. Jesus was producing many things. Miracles, signs, wonders. Those were the what? The things that he was producing. People thought that he came for miracles, for signs, for wonders, for all the amazing things things, but he actually came for 12 people. Because at the end of the day, the miracle stopped, but the people continued. And they branched. The miracle sustained the short-term vision. The people sustained the long-term vision.
Exactly. Can we go? The miracle sustained the short-term vision, but the people sustained the long-term vision. And they have continued to grow that vision. And we are here today, and we still talk about Jesus because he left a legacy of people. So legacy is not built on systems, it is built in people. It is the legacy that we build in people. How do we do that in an organization? How do we cause staff to align? What are some of the strategies that we can really just ensure that the people we work with are really aligned to this vision?
I'll stay there and just say what you said. Now I have to answer the question. So, wow, that's really powerful, and I really resonate with that. Like you said, it's one thing to produce products and another thing to transfer value to people. And I think that, of course, there are many ways in which you can do that. But the first thing I would like to say is that it is a journey. It is a journey, right? It's something you must understand that the process of doing that is a journey. And I like to share, say it this way, especially from the place of an organization or a business. Something I learned, which has also helped me in how to build this legacy, is to understand the game you are into. Let me use the word game. What do I mean by that? And sometimes, especially as entrepreneurs, we get into the game of competition. What do I mean by competition? You're trying to be, somebody else or the number one person producing this, you are trying to win market share and all of that, And that game is a game that is limited, What you don't realize is that the game you're into is not that. The game you're into is a game to outlive everything else. That's where legacy comes in. Which means that it's not about me being the top in the whole industry. It's about me being there forever. Because that's where legacy comes. And why is that important? If I'm in the game of wanting to be the first or the second, I'll lose focus on what matters. If I want to be in the game of being there, then it is different. It means that I don't have to be first this year. I don't have to be the top. It doesn't. I just know that as long as this exists, I will be relevant. Do you understand? That is the mindset that we must have. It's not about being the biggest church or the smallest church. It's about being the one thing that remains after everything else. So what that looks like in practice is that you might think that, let me use a practical example. You might be in this in Boya. The biggest business or the biggest organization is the one that has the legacy. No, the one that has the legacy might be the one that has been there for time immemorial that you don't know about. Like was already said, they might have morphed into something else, but it is still it. They are still there. Because they are building on values, not on products and services. So how do you do that? It starts with what I said before. You must start by knowing yourself and begin to build that community of people that you work with. Because it is that community of people that create the value system, that helps you to sustain the value system, that will begin to transmit into whatever product or services that you're trying to do. So, short term, of course, you might be thinking about, short term, you might think about you to survive. It In business technology, it says that okay, you must have like an MVP, you know, a minimum viable product, something that you can produce. But all of that, right, is good, but should not stop you from constantly going back and defining who you are as a person. And then begin to attract people based on that. Begin to bring people in based on that. Sometimes you might have to let people go. Not because they are bad people. They don't just have the value system that is taking away your way. And that also means that you also need to understand yourself, like I said before. The more you understand yourself, the more you understand where you are going. I think one of the things that we normally do, like during the vision quest, where we ask people to begin to craft a vision for their life, is this, and I always ask people to write their eulogy. It's always a very funny thing. But like, in the end, how do you want to die? You know? But what that means is that think about it, and once you understand that, you begin to build the experiences and the relationships that create the environment that you want. You know? You begin to create memories, right? Memories that reflect that legacy that you're talking about. And those are not things that you do based on what is the most prevailing product at the time. Those are things you do based on what are the value system that is guiding us. The value system determines what we do, when we do it, how we do it, even how we respond to crisis. Because sometimes it is even in the midst of crisis that the real you emerges. How many of you have noticed that? Yes. And sometimes it's in that place of failure that you discover what you really wanted at the end of the business. So how do you begin to build that in practice? Invest time in always coming back and discovering who you are. Do it for yourself and for the people you work with. Because the more they know themselves, the more you'll be able to work towards the mission that you're all working together. And sometimes as people know themselves, because let me put it this way, it sometimes seems counterproductive to organization. Let me give you why. If you're on a business and you're investing a lot in the staff knowing themselves, guess what happens the more they know themselves? They'll go. You see? Now, it might not make sense that, okay, this person came here, we help the person to become all that they wanted, now they have discovered who they are, all of a sudden they are dreaming.
Yeah.
And they feel like they want to go somewhere else. Yeah. It is because the leadership you have led is that you have been able to try and make them see who you are and help them see who they are.
That's good.
And that is good because now that they know who they are, they get to make a choice of whether you are the person they should be working with. It's hard to say, but that's the truth. But you know the beautiful thing? The day you find the person that knows who they are and they know who you are in relation to where they are going, then that becomes the strongest thing you found. Because that is really the key for the vision, like Paul said. That is when you can transmit what you're transmitting. Because this person that, when you find the people that know that this is who I am and who this person is, perfectly resonates, aligns with where I'm going, then you are now set for the long haul. Why do people tend to pass on their legacy to their biological children? Why does nobody desire to do that? Because it is a natural thing that your child should pick up your values. The value system. You don't hand over to the child because you want them to just keep the family business. The hope is that they have the value system of the father to be able to evolve this thing, because the father will not be there in the future to come and they will not be there to face the challenges that come. But now, what happens when some fathers can't do that? Because they realize that, I have a child but they don't catch the value system that I have. And that's why sometimes they will hand it over to somebody else. Do you understand? You see that because why? The person has the value system that can enable them to take this thing to the next level. So for you to do that, you must invest in these people knowing themselves. In everything you do, whether you are giving them skills to succeed in the job they do, always be pushing them to go further and further. That onion I spoke about, they should always be peeling that onion. The faster they peel that onion, the faster you will build on that legacy. Because you know who you're working with and you'll be able to build sustainability.
Something that I just want to add very fast is to build a legacy, you must make the right assumptions about people. And let me explain what that means. If you are seeing the people you're working to as your employees only, as your subordinates, as people that you're trying to help, as people that you're giving a job, as people that you're supporting them to make their life better. That is the wrong assumption. What do I mean by the right assumption? You must sustain the ability to see greatness in people before they see it in themselves. Do you have the ability to see somebody that has no skill, no experience, has all kinds of faults, and you say, you will replace me and you will do greater than me? Peter, I will make you a fisher of men. Right now, you are doing this thing, but I'm able to see potential in you because you will recreate in people what you see in them. The reason most times, most organizations never create legacy is that you can never build people more than your vision and revelation of who they are. If you begin to see these people as those that will do more than you, they are more intelligent than you, they are more smart than you, and you know that the only difference between you and them is that you have had more time to learn and more experience, and that if you give them the same time and experience with their skill, they will scale more than you. Then your vision and the way you will build your organizational structure will be different. You will become more empathetic. You will now, the Bible says, long suffering. Because you will now endure with people while they are in their rough stages. And you will not discard people before they come to their emerging. Many leaders have let go or dismissed or forgotten about the people that will carry their legacy because they had the wrong assumptions. They will keep seeing them as the failures, as they're not good enough, as people they were trying to save, but they were not seeing them as their future. Are you able to look at somebody and see the future of what you're building in them before you see it in themselves? Even the way you talk to them is going to be different. Even the way you assign responsibilities is going to be different. And they will be wondering, how do you trust me so much? Because I see you. I'm not seeing this version of you right now. I'm seeing the version 5 years, 10 years of you right now. And you're going to do so much more than me right now, but you don't just know it. All I ask of you is that give me time, and I will make you. That's why Jesus says, follow me, and I will make you. A leader that will raise a legacy is a maker of men. Do you know how to make men? Do you know how to turn failures into champions? Do you know how to turn people who are rejected, dejected, to become bold, confident? Do you know how to take people who don't even have a sense of what purpose is to make them into the more visionary and most powerful leaders you've ever seen? Most of the time, as business people who want to build on foundations that have been laid by other people, what do I mean? You cannot build any organization on a foundation you have not laid. And remember, the foundations are people. So when you're trying to only get people who have the skill, the talent, the experience, and the character to continue your legacy, you're trying to build on another person's foundation. This person that you are admiring, someone else built them. And most of the time it doesn't work, because those people will come and people always return back to their foundation. That's why one of the things that Pastor said is that when you build legacy, you create loyalty. Because people know, I know how I came. I know how I started. I used to come to the breakfast with one dirty t-shirt and jeans, and I'll just come. So I know my story, and I know this person believed in me. He kept speaking life into me. He told me that I'm good enough. He told me that I just needed to grow. He created opportunities for me to learn. He entrusted me even when I failed over and over. And let me tell you, it is not as easy as I'm talking. Because the process of creating legacy is the same process of creating rebels. If you don't want to, let me put it this way. The same culture that builds a Judas is the same culture that builds a Peter. So if you are afraid of being betrayed, you will never find the people that will carry your legacy. Because those guardrails you have put to never raise people, because you are afraid that one day you will raise them and they will turn and stab you on the back, is the same that will stop you from identifying your replacement and replacing the person that will carry the torch. And so every leader that will become a leader that will leave a legacy, one of the things that you must know is that you must be willing to lay your life for people and trust for the best. Even if they stab you, you know it is worth it. Because guess what? 1,000 can stab you, but if you find two that will retain gratitude, that two is strong enough to continue the legacy.
Last year we had a retreat, and that retreat was led by Mrs. We discovered that it was important for us. It's costly. Every Tuesday in my office, the morning, Tuesday is the most important day. That's the first real day of working. And every Tuesday in my office, I'm saying the person of the day is dedicated to King performance line. That's risky. My staff, even told me that you have invested too much in people. Start investing in the vision. But I understand these things. One thing the Lord called me to do is to rebuild universities and to make desolate homes inhabited and to see the ruins and turn it into the garden of Eden. Because inside each and every one of us is a treasure. Every one of us has a treasure. And I say that I'm always addressing for the young people. It's not just for people who have started their businesses. When you go to work somewhere, be able to see that vision. Don't see your leader as the leader, see the leader beyond. Don't know people after the flesh. Know them by the Spirit, have a revelation of why you are placed in that business. The leader might not be demonstrating the right things that for you think you want to see. And then you say, this is God has put you there because you are building your own legacy. And you are a part of that organization. God gives man a vision, but that vision cannot be accomplished by one person. That vision, before God gave it, God knew that there were certain people that were going to come and be participants and partake in building that vision. So when you are in a vision that you are not necessarily visionary, guess what? You're co-visionary because there is something you carry that you are going to contribute in the building of that vision. So you're building your own legacy. The people who have left my organization, I will never talk about reality without talking about mantle. I will never talk about Rhino Cabral without talking about police and mantle. Are they still there? But they're there and they still come back because, when you create that relationship with people, they never leave. I have a word I say in my organization, people don't leave the family group. We have a family group where we have a team group. That team now is workers. But you join the family and you never leave that group. Even when you leave, you still remain one of us. So we are building something that is bigger than ourselves. And so whether you are the owner or not the owner, getting there and become the original. I can be proud today hymns where I never talk about hymns we're talking about. When you think entrepreneurship in hymns for you, think Doris Go. You cannot help it. It's the way it is. But it seems where my vision, no. When I got in there, I knew that there is a vision I carry, which is to empower Africans with transformative action. Yes, I'm an accountant, but I understood that my role here is not to teach accounting. My role here is to be able to raise these young people so that they see a way forward for their lives beyond school. And I draw all of my village to come and impact the young people. It's an investment. They come there, they had to charge me. I'm not able to pay them because of the relationships we built. They will be able to impact my students. You understand? And we are building a generation. So whenever I'm an employee in Kings, I'm just trying to say that these things we talk about is not because none of the things that we're talking about that we know this. It's our life. I'm an employee in Kings, so I don't see myself as that. I see myself as a co-missionary. I come up with ideas. I've started courses. Practical was never in Kings before there was in UK. But I'm still taking the course. And it's a new course that is there. So when you get into a vision, plug in, listen to that word, plug in. It's really, really important. And like I said, Pastor Silas works with us, which is the next question that I'm about to ask you. How do you feel to succeed? succession. It's very important, and that's something that he's been telling me about. We are rebuilding succession. Again, it's a very risky process. You know, right now my staff is going to dreams to reality, and he's been taking that process and staff are discovering who they are. I'm already preparing because maybe the next 1 or 2 years, some people will no longer be there because in this process, they will discover themselves and then they'll find out that maybe this is not where I should be. But guess what? Also the beauty of it is that some people may discover and see the result of that already. I'm seeing some of my staff and I was like, hey, Joyce, I'm discovering another side of you. You know? So it is a risky process, but it is a process that is working. Yeah, and for us as 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, we dedicate half of Tuesday for these things to build staff members.
To build that, you really need to invest in the people. I know that we can easily invest in other things. You know, we can invest in the building, we can invest in the product and all of that. But you must be ready to make the investment in the people. And it's not cheap. It is not cheap. Trust me, the payroll is not the need. The payroll is not it. The payroll is just a small part of it. You need to invest much more than that payroll. You need to invest more. And I think that is really where, like what Alex was saying, is what I've been working with them in their team for a while. And it's first of all, it starts with that intentionality. You know, you cannot, this is a thing, you cannot fake it. People can read to the mind away if you're sincere or not. You know, you can call your staff to let's have a workshop, let's have a program or something, just because you want to fix them. Because they are the problem. You know, not because you believe in them and you want to understand. And I know that as somebody that does workshops and stuff for people, you know, if you are the visionary, you don't buy into it, I just know that I'm wasting my time and come to the organization. Because when you view them like they are the problem and their solution, and I brought you to fix them, and I won't just work with you because it's not just going to work. Because you need to model it to them. You know, you need to model what you're saying to them. So, what that looks like, okay, we are on this journey, like I shared, we are on this journey of knowing ourselves, you know, so that we can be all that God has called us to be. And you must, like, again, come back to one person. If you believe in them, then you must be number one and the first person that invests in their growth. Yeah. Even when they themselves don't see the need. Yeah. Just like when we read, some of them don't even see the need in the process. They're like, why are we coming every day? I know all this question about what is your dream, who are you, what is your thoughts, what are your values? They just came here to work. What's all this discovery about, you know, spend some time, know who you are? They don't want to know. Do you understand? But as a leader that has a vision of leaders, you know that at the end of the day, these are the people that are the carrier of the vision. If you don't invest in them, what will you invest in? You know, it is like you said, you can produce both the bitter and the students. Fair enough, you can invest all of them, and somebody goes like, wow, what an opportunity that this man has invested all this money in me. Now I know perfectly the job I want. But that's what can happen. I'm sure some people yeah, so after investing that, the person is like, wow, you know, now I know what I want. They are not paying me enough yet. So let me go to where they are paying me. After you have invested in building them to know them, that is what as an employer you must be willing to do. Otherwise, you will return to know, pay them small, invest, you know, and then you will not be able to produce the result that you want. And that is really what it is. You will not be authentic. And so for us, that's what we do. Every organization that wants that, I have been there on the journey since January. When we had the last year, we had the staff retreat last year, I told them, okay, we have had the retreat. I took them through their annual retreat. Was able to help them to do a whole analysis, a SWOT analysis, understand the strength. We finished with the organization quite well, and we had a clear plan for the organization. But then I said, this plan hinges on the people. For the people to be able to take the organization to the next level, you've got to invest in them. And the investment in them is much more heavy than the investment in the organization. And that means that you need to commit to a process of building them over a long term. You can have a 1 day, 2 day retreat to plan for the organization. But my friend, you don't build a star in 1 day. You need to have a program of continuously developing them. And that's what I said. So that's why we had the program. Every week I'm talking with the staff. I told her that we are taking to the next level. Start building them up to begin to also learn how to build succession in what they are doing. They themselves should be able to point out their own success. Because not all of them might stay. But they should go to a point where they can comfortably say, I've served my time. I've served everything, I've deposited everything that I was called to deposit in royalty world. And I can happily move on. And I happily move on, creating the right environment for whoever is taking over me. They will be able to do that if you've invested in them. But if you're not invested in them, you're wrong. And as I said before, people don't leave organizations, they leave people. They leave people. For good or bad reasons, but they don't leave people. So for me, that's how it is. If you want to be able to do that, you have to come into a process where you're constantly investing in people, training them, talking to them, helping them to come fully to who they are. The more they discover themselves, the more they understand themselves. Like she's saying, I told her that this process will have some surprises. As we're going through this process, be ready. Some people might leave. Some people might have to change roles. And as a leader, it might be the person you think will stay might be the one that will move. The person you think will move might be the one that insists staying. Like you say, you don't know. You have to be able to see beyond. And because you see beyond, that's why you can invest in them. Because we believe that this investment will yield results, both now and in the long term.
So we can go on and on here, but I think that we've shared the essential, and like we prayed in the beginning, I believe people are really here on people transformed. Getting into 2025 with a whole different mindset, with a whole different, just preparing for this is transformed 25 what in here. That's why I was paying attention, because I knew what God was going to do here today. Is we really need people in our nation that can build a legacy. So, Pastor Boris, last word to people that are here, there are CEOs here, there are young people here who are also planning to get into job, people planning to work for other people. And then within this topic, what would be your last word to the CEO here on this information? As far as building legacy is concerned.
My last word to those of us here is, no matter the level you are right now, have somebody that you're serving up and somebody you're pouring into. Never be in a position where you are not serving anyone. You are not learning from anyone. So let me start with, you always have to have people in your life that are pouring into you, that you are accountable to. And this is a difficult one, because many times people when they are starting up with life and their careers, there's a desire to learn. And once they have small knowledge, they run with it and they assume that they already know. Or maybe they have learned for some years and they feel like they have learned enough. The process of continuous self-education, of continuous mentorship, of continuous submitting on accountability is a lifelong journey. At every stage where you are in your growth, there is someone that has something to give you, to pour into you. And so, the first question I want to ask you right now is that, who are you serving? Which organization are you serving? And how are you serving? Are you serving with all your heart? Or are you just there to pass time? Or you're just there to do it because somebody asked you to do it? Or you just add it to your CV like somewhere you are volunteering? So you have to find yourself in an environment where you're serving and then you're growing in that process. Once you have that, the next is that you are not a leader if you don't have followers. Don't tell me you are a leader and when I ask you who are the people you are leading, He says, I know I'm a leader. And so there are many people, you'll be shocked, they say they know they are leaders, but they are not intentional leaders. They are not intentionally passing on the baton to the next generation. I always tell people that if you want me to mentor you, you must tell me 3 people you're mentoring. Because if you don't know, if you are not able to lead other people and transfer, the only way legacy is sustained is that whatever I'm pouring into you, you are pouring to the next generation, and they have to pour it to the next generation. Because it is a river, it is not a lake. It's a river. And so everything that you have learned from this breakfast right now, today, one of the objectives should be that I need to have some names of 2, 3 people that I'm going to share everything I learned here today. Because that is the fastest way to grow. You retain 95% of the things you share with others, and you retain just 5% of the things you hear from others. Let me say that again. You will retain 95% of the things you pour into others, and you will retain just 5% of the things you hear from others. And so the most important thing is not your ability to hear it. It is a willingness to transfer it to the next generation that brings about your personal transformation. So as you plan towards 2025, one of your key roles is to say, these are the people I am going to learn under this year. These are the if you're working somewhere in an organization, I'm going to serve with all my heart. I'm going to have a teachable spirit. I'm going to have a humble spirit. I'm going to be adaptable. I'm going to be willing to take correction. I'm going to be willing to take rebuke. I need someone to cut off my rough edges. I always need to be in that refining process. I must always have a certain level of pressure over me. Without pressure, you cannot form jewel. You see, diamond and gold, they are formed under the ground. You find them under the ground because of the high pressure. And when you are submitted to a process of discipleship and mentorship, it is that pressure that makes you. So you must intentionally submit yourself to any kind of pressure in whatever area. If it's the area of business, look for a business that you can go and volunteer and serve. Look for somebody that you will get as a mentor that will hold you accountable. If it's whatever area that you want to grow, and then find out your personal value, your personal purpose in life, and then have people that you're pouring into on a continual basis. And if you maintain that stream, then your growth is going to be rapid and your transformation is going to be rapid.
I think the voice has spoken a lot to the young people who are here and who want to, what you need to do. I'll talk to those who are leading organizations, those of you that already have something that you're doing. My take-home message would be, as much as you can, invest in the people that are with you. It's a risk. I'll tell you the truth. It's a risk to invest in the people that are with you. But in that risk is also the potential for huge reward. You either get it amazingly right or you have a spectacular surprise. But that still leads to an amazing outcome. Because even with the Judas in Jesus' story, it was not enough to build the legacy that he came to build. So the risk is, as you invest in your people, you will see things will pop up. Both the good, the bad, and the ugly. But that is what you need for your legacy to be built. We live in an environment, even in our culture, we see that about people build things, but because of superstition and fear, they don't want anybody to know their secret. They don't build anybody. They just believe that this thing is about them. They safeguard that thing around them so much that today we hear of this name, and then when they are gone, everything is gone. Even the people that work with them cannot write any good story about them. Because it was their legacy, like Pastor Boris said, was built on the thing they produce, not the people they produce. And so if you remember this thing, that your legacy is the people that you produce, then you should make it an intentional choice to constantly invest in the people. And that's why Lead for That exists. To help you invest in your people.
Wow, help me invest in your people. Please, no. Request. So we're going to take a few questions.
What would be the reason for that, or how do you guys balance it? Like you being able to just tell the people like fully open up to the people you're leading, because many people always say that no, you don't show your secret. I mean, you take it step by step, you grow with them. When you think that they are ready for you to pour out completely or to reveal the secret of the company, that's when you can now tell them. So I just want clarity on that.
You know, there's something that Marcellus and I were talking about just lately. You know, you can prepare a workshop, you can prepare all the content, you can prepare all the slides and everything and give it to a person and present it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's okay, you can give it to anybody. You know, there's nothing to hide. But the thing is that, guess what? People don't hear what you say, they hear who you are. So when you're communicating, have you become that? That who you are, nobody can copy it. People can copy culture. You know, there's Peter Drucker said, culture will eat strategy for breakfast anytime. So the culture, who you have become, what you built, and who you have become, you can have a secret, you can have a product. Have you ever asked yourself why Mami Julie will sell puff? She's in that same space. There's Mami Juan just next door. And she probably is the one that taught Mami Julie how to make puff. But people just don't know why they have to go to Mami Julie to buy the puff from Mami Julie. So there's a spirit behind everything. And for that brings you to a place where you're not insecure in sharing with people, because people cannot really catch. They cannot copy who you are. I don't know if yes.
In most cases, the secret is that there is no secret. Most times when people are looking for a secret, they are looking for shortcuts. They want to be able to know how to produce something without going through process. If you truly want to know the secret is in the process. It's in the hard work, the consistency, the diligence. That's truly what the secret is, in most cases. And we live in a generation where people want to be able to make it fast. They were like, how can I become as successful as you? How can my business grow as powerful as yours? And they're hoping that the person will tell them one thing that he has not told anyone. But the truth is that it's not that. The secret is that they are showing up every day. The truth is that every day they are paying the price to produce a certain quality. The real secret is the value system that is empowering that business. When I teach about investments, I always say that I learned something some years ago. They are not bad investments, they are just bad investors. What that principle says is that it is a person behind the business or the organization that makes it successful, not the business organization. So when people begin to say, okay, should I do clothing business or food business? Anyone will work, depends on the person running the food business and the person running the clothing business. Because whatever business you think is not working, there's somebody that is succeeding there. You ask that person will tell you that, this is the best business to enter into. So what am I saying? Become a person that can produce success. Develop the values, the character of that person. And when you know that your secret is in the discipline, the personality, the values, you are not afraid to share anything. And let me tell you, in this our 21st century, anything you want to know is online. Except the secret of Coca-Cola. Anything you want, Coca-Cola, but anything you want to know. In other words, anything you want to know is out there. It's just that, are you willing to pay the price, to put in the work, the effort, the discipline, the system, the consistency that is required, the minimum price that is required to be able to produce that particular result?
What is enough when it comes to pouring into something? When does patience run dry? Or when you say, okay, you're not getting it, I have to move on, because being stagnant is worth it. But you have to make sure you stay long enough to truly go through the range of your impact. And not let one person short circuit that which you're called on earth to pour. So most of all, pouring into people is good. But when you say, okay, I think I should stop here, I think I should be patient, I think my patience has run dry, or I think I should move to this other side, without necessarily hating the person or not believing in the person, but the person is not where they can receive what you have.
As my question was about your presentation, the 8-step framework you said in step 1, I think it's building your identity. And then you made a statement that we are all onions, we are like onions, we are going to peel ourselves to discover our true selves. And then you went to step 5 and said that when building this unique identity, we still need to get people around us who can remind us who we are. Yeah. So, remember that we are like onions, and these are our friends that we have brought around us. They knew maybe that layer of our onion. After peeling out maybe that layer they know, and you are maybe a new self, which is obviously better. Your friends deny it and pull you back. Do you reject their pull? Or do you ignore them and keep pushing? And maybe looking for new friends or new people around you? Or you actually go back and stay with all the media thinking about it?
When it comes to the how much time should you spend on people, it's based on, you don't stop pouring on people because they have not changed. You stop pouring on them because they don't want to learn. So for example, what qualifies me to keep pouring on someone? There are some value systems you must have. I don't care if you're gifted, you're talented, for me that's not much. Number 1, are you teachable and correctable? If you're teachable and correctable, I can be there for you for life. If you are a rebel, you think you know, and you're not willing to take new information, you will never last a week. So I don't even need to even wait till I exhaust myself. I know that you will not learn. Because there's a simple law of physics. There has to be a potential difference for electricity to flow. If I have to pour, this relationship is a mentor-mentee relationship. So one person knows more than the other. And the other person does not know, and notice the father doesn't know, and they are willing to learn. So if you already know, you're already sure of yourself, you don't need me. So number 1, are you teachable? First. Number 2, are you active? Are you doing something? Don't try to pour into people who are idle. The Bible calls them hearers and not doers. These people who are just hearing, you'll be talking to them, they'll be like, they're shaking their ears, it's true. They'll be listening and listening and listening, but they will not take any action towards that. So look for people who can run. People who are willing to take risk, who are willing to take that information and try and fail. I would prefer somebody who keeps trying and failing so that I can help them become better than somebody that's never taken the first step. Every time we are having a conversation, it's like the first day we are starting. After 2 years, we are still talking about the same thing that we should have moved from this identity thing by now. We are still there. I'm still encouraging you to find your identity. You have not taken any steps, no actions. You are not even trying to do something that is not your identity. Let me say, okay, this one is not your identity. So I can even connect on your process. So that's the second thing. There must be people who are willing to take action. People who are willing to take action. And the third thing for me, there must be people who are willing to live a life that is beyond themselves. They are willing to bring a change in the world. And why this is important? I don't want to pour into somebody that wants to build their personal empire. I don't want to pour into you for the sake of you having a beautiful life. It's all about you. Egocentric people. These are the rebels, people that want to just use you for their personal gain. So I want to find out, what is your heart for transformation? What is your heart for change? What is your heart for seeing your family, your community better? Do you have a desire to lay down your life for the next generation? Because somebody can be teachable and active, but highly selfish. And so at the end of the day, you just have to make somebody become a big head, somebody just an intelligent, how can I put it out? And so, for me, those three things are the criteria for continuous mentorship. The moment I discover that you are now challenging, you are now willing to learn, you are now, have now become the mentee, you are not a mentor. When I say one, you teach me 2, 3, 4. You are not willing to take corrections, you are not willing, if I'm able to agree as you did this wrong, we need to argue for 2 hours and I need to spend time. Also, let me also say something. People have complexes. Complexes are people who have low self-esteem, that anything you tell them, they take it personal. It means that you don't love me, you don't care for me. They want that whenever they give you excuses, you should accommodate their excuses. Oh, there was traffic in Boya, that's the reason why I came 2 hours late. So please understand. No, we were supposed to be here 2 hours ago, you are late. You know there's traffic in Boya, you should have prepared air before time. And so people who always take things personal, they feel like you're personally attacking them. No, you are not a mother, you are not a leader. You know, if you're a leader, you understand. Those people, I'm giving you characteristics of people that if you start pouring into those people, you are going to waste your energy, your time. At the end of the day, after investing for years, they will go and meet other people and tell other people that you're a very wicked person. Yeah. Auntie Doris is so wicked. Can you imagine? My child was sick, she could not even call. Because she was busy. And you're not the only one that she's pouring into. She has hundreds of you. And so give her a slack. She was not there for your child's born house. So people who have complexes, low self-esteem, they always have this need of attention and all of that. Those people, you pour yourself into them, at the end of the day they'll still look you, because there's nothing that can satisfy that. And if you have people that fulfill this criteria, then I tell you, it doesn't matter how long it takes for them to become everything. Keep pouring on them.
If you are with your tribe, they will have no challenge with you getting better. They will have no challenge. I said you need to be able to be with people that are very, very comfortable with your growth and not challenged by it. That circle of what I'm talking about, there are people that are comfortable with you coming to yourself, but are not intimidated by it. Because when you begin to get yourself, you become more powerful, you become much more prominent in what you do. And so the people that form that board of directors cannot afford to be intimidated by that. If there are people that are intimidated by that, then they are not the right people. Right? There should be people that when they see you rise, they are not intimidated. They celebrate and they say, good, we have been waiting for this. Now, cut this off because we need this to go. That's how the people that form your tribe, they can see your emergence and they can identify it and say, this is the layer we're waiting for. They can say that you finally peeled off the whole layer, because these people I'm talking about, they know when you are overdoing a layer. You understand? You know when they lay out that onion is over you, like it's time to peel this one. You see, yeah, we accepted you at this level. But now we know that there's something more than this. Take up this thing and let's see the next level of you. That is the tribe I'm talking about. You know. So when you have that kind of people, then there'll be no reason to feel like, you know, they are cutting your wings or stopping you from going. Rather, they'll be the first people to identify when it is time to peel the onion. Others might even want you to stay in the old layer. They will say it's time to move. You have stayed here too long. It's time to move. You are much better than this. That's how you know that you are with the right people. And they can, at one time, tell you that it is time to move, and at the same time tell you that this is not correct. So they have no complex telling you when you're doing it excellently and when you're about to destroy yourself by yourself. But the key, as I say, is that they are not intimidated. They don't have any complex with your ability. They don't have no problem with you rising. They celebrate it and they are all for it. Those are the kind of people that form that
support circle they were talking about.
I know that there's so many questions, but let's lead from the heart, okay? So you can please give yourself a Christmas present and be part of the vision quest. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I've attended it every single year, and this year I'm also part of it. I'm not tired, right? I want to put another layer about them. So I have to be there. So the next breakfast is going to be on the 22nd. It's going to be on the 1st of March. Okay, so the next breakfast is going to be on the 1st of March. Okay, on the early March, date March, before Women's Day. 𝘠𝘂𝗶𝗰𝗸! 𝘠𝘂𝗶𝗱𝗲! So I'm going to be here, us the ladies, you know, there's so much wisdom that we can tap from women. So it's going to be about women leadership in March. So please, let a friend that you love like that. Let a friend that you love, please make sure you tell her, let's start getting ready for the March edition. It's going to be explosive. There's going to be new elements. Yeah, and I have to go behind the scenes and try to make some small surprises and plans. You know, when it's about us like that, we have our small things that we need to do to make it spicy, to make it different. So it's going to be very, very amazing. It's going to be awesome. We need you women who are here. Please just volunteer your time, volunteer. We would really like to plan for that. So if you have any ideas, please contact @Maya. She's there behind. Just, you know, pledge your support for the next breakfast so that we can sit down in the committee and really plan it. So we truly honor Christ in you. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for all the lessons. And Pastor Boris said, the secret is that there is no secret. The secret is that there is no secret. The legacy is not what you leave in structures or in things. It is the legacy that you leave in people. I think that's the one big take-home message that we are all having here. What legacy are we leaving in people? And I love that whole aspect of I'm not going to pour myself into somebody that does not have a transformation agenda.
I'm the executive director of a youth-led organization called 𝗪𝗪 Initiative, which is aimed at revolutionizing student leadership and advancing SDGs among young people. This session has been an eye-opener. It has been a revealing session of myself. And I'm so grateful to find a Christian transformational community. You know, that's one thing that's been very key for me here, and I'm so grateful to find that atmosphere. Thank you very much, Sir Silence, Madam Doris, and the esteemed Pastor Boris for this awakening session. Firstly, for vision to legacy, I would say I've been a very, how can I put it? I would say I'm a perfectionist, and I find it really hard in building a team in such a way that if I give a responsibility to a team member and I don't produce results, I'm just like, forget about it. I'll go ahead and do it. You get it. And today, while coming for this program, I registered
I would say, my successor. So throughout the session, I was like, I'm really in the spirit because I want to be able to trust people with this vision that God has given me. Funny enough, we were in secondary school together. She was my junior in secondary school, and she followed me from secondary school to the university, and we were building something really huge. So I'm really grateful she came here today, Rochella. She came here today, and we're going to take this back to the team. I'm really, really grateful. I've learned so much about a compelling vision. I think that word compelling really stood out for me. Because you know when you're a visionary and you're always on fire to do so many things, but you don't really sit down to be mentored. Because you feel you've read a lot, there's so much God has invested in you, you can do it, you can do it. But that aspect of being mentored and being accountable has strongly resonated with me today, and I think come 2025, I'm ready to take that new vision myself to another level. So please, I'm already applying to the highest board of directors. You have a mentee here. You have a mentee here. I'm so grateful. Thank you. It's brought out so much about my core values as a young person and as a leader, you know. And funny enough, I have followed these people on Facebook for a very long time, but I didn't really know how to reach out. So I'm really grateful for this leadership breakfast. I'm here to the end. I'll try as much as possible to be present for every session because this is the community I need. Thank you so much.
Just want to thank God because it's like defined vision of my dream leadership platform. You know, in 2016 when Pastor Doris was talking about the very first session at the Rema, I was part of it. Somehow, somewhere along the line, it's like I got missing. You know, so it's like for 8 years, where I'm supposed to be drinking. Missing. But every word said here, I was writing, and it dawned on me that you need to focus on the record because you need to listen to these things and you listen to them time and again as a leader. Everything said here, I also say something that Sister Doris said, which is so important. She said, our fathers are looking up to us as leaders. I think I was sharing with a few people, I was praying for Cameroon, and you know, I used to be really worried about why these people are the way they are. God said something to me for the past 6 months, I think 8 months, that was in January, in April, precisely on the 6th of April, when Alison in Cameroon Collins, the way our president was appreciated by his group. The Lord said something very important to me. He said, these people are living in a period where they have realized the vision they had for Cameroon in 1982. And so if you people keep criticizing these people, the nation and the next generation that is forthcoming, they are looking up to you people to build the kind of Cameroon you want to build. Your vision is different from their vision. I really want to take our time and thank you guys for this invitation. And I think I'm not leaving anytime soon, and I don't plan to.
Thank the leaders for this amazing session. Please let us organize the love clap. That's the love clap, please. That's the love clap. I want us to stand up and I will guide you through this love clap. Let's do it right now. So I'll demonstrate and then we'll do it together. So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Are we ready? Yes. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you for making leadership so easy. Because the pressure that many people have is making out a plan and trying to follow the plan, carving out strategies and all of these things. But I think this is just basic leadership, becoming to transform. So that is just it, and it has resonated with them. Something that I saw last time out. That's it. what you're looking for is also looking for you. So you have to look within to be able to now find it. And Pastor Ori made it very clearly that it's an inside-out job. But we are looking at the outside. We are looking at, okay, what is trending, like what we're sharing here. So it's an inside-out job. The question is, what more are we becoming? How are we changing? How are we refining ourselves? How are we getting down? And what are people helping us to do that? And I'm already subscribed to the board. Yeah, to the board of directors. And I'm just grateful for them.
One thing that really showed me is what Pastor Doris said. She said, not everyone is meant to be a leader. I mean, it helped to just take off the pressure off my shoulders. I mean, especially in a society where it looks like everyone wants to be a CEO, and it looks like you that you're not doing CEO, something is really wrong with you. So to me, I feel that it's a big home message for me. And equally, while they were just talking, I don't know, I was just grateful to God for them and for the fact that God loves me so much. And I was just looking at my life and I was like, God, you love me this much. You knew that I needed this and you packaged these people for me. And so for me, I'm just conscious of the fact that, I just came here not just to leave, but to imprint who I am on the face of earth. So thank you.
I call myself a transformational leader. And one before I came here, or before, I always had a problem with some of the people that I always want to pour out myself. Because the transformational leader must pour out yourself. I always want to pour out everything. Like, I just want to see that you're better. But I've always had a problem with the way they receive it. Sometimes just if you're forcing them. When I'm just looking out for you,
And good company is okay.
So I'm very happy for this timely intervention because at least I will not do again. At least I will not do again. But learning from these, let's say, gurus, learning from our leaders here, it's really inspiring to think and to know that no, I'm actually in the same space. I'm not in the world. I'm actually in church.
That's right.
So I am very grateful. I'm very, this is my another time of meeting her. This is not the first time.
Yes.
And this is the first time of meeting Pastor Boris. But I know him online. And this is the first time of meeting this other person. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
I just wish to thank Auntie Maya for this opportunity because it's not easy. Like at first, to be in a crowd like this, I don't like to be in the public, not talk of, like talking. So we have an organization, Humanity in Action Global. So our vision is to build a community, a culture where people, regardless of your circumstances, we empower you to we empower you to reach your full potentials. So like let me say I'm a full leader. I've been thinking the first thing that captivates my mind is invest in the people. Like how can I really invest in the people? So the meeting, the information here has really helped me to invest in people. One, legacy is not built on system, but it's built on people. So that is what that captivates me to go and teach my people.
Wow.
I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. You know, there's some things you may have in mind and you don't really know how to go about it. Or you may think you are doing something, not knowing that you are doing it the wrong way. And I believe that each time I have an opportunity to learn something, especially from people of God, it's an indication that I'm either not doing it, or doing it and not doing it well, or, so much is expected. And talking about leadership, I'm so blessed. Building a
positive legacy, not just a legacy, a positive one for a meaningful future. When we look at our society, when I look at the things that are happening, I look at the children, I look at the young people, I look at the way things are going. And when I come to a place like this, I see young people talking beautiful things, bringing forth transformative information, practical ones, not just the ones that are in the head. Like I used to say, the things you know are the things you practice. The ones you have in the head and you don't practice, you don't know them. But seeing that practical examples, I'm so blessed. And I think that the difficulties I had in my leadership, as a pastor, even as a mother, have been cleared out. Like Pastor Salah said something, when people discover themselves based on what you have, invested in them, some leave. In fact, many of them might leave and might be discouraged, like I was discouraged. But today I learned that they were not meant to be. Yeah. When they discover themselves, they find themselves where they are supposed to be, and they deliver. And as you continue pouring, those who are meant for you will stay. When they come, they will stay, and they will keep the legacy going. So I'm so blessed. I will struggle. I'm no longer.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
This is not a reaction, but this is a testament of the fact that sometimes it's easy for us to hear stuff and it goes through one ear and goes out through the other ear. But I just want to say that I am a living, breathing, walking force to be reckoned with legacy from the leaders that I've just spoken. Auntie Doris, when she said there is no, when you mention entrepreneurship in hymns, you cannot talk about entrepreneurship in hymns without talking about Auntie Doris. That's true, because she was my lecturer in hymns. I am her legacy because the impact she made in our lives. I remember her taking us to a competition in Bamenda, and even though we did not win that competition, none of us came back to Goya feeling like we failed. When we got back to Goya, I had missed my internship placement. Auntie Doris was the person who helped me to get another internship placement, and that was how I met Pastor Silas and Pastor Boris. Working in that company as an intern, at the end of my internship period, I got retained. I got retained because I was able to serve and I had leaders who were willing to pour into me. I feel like I have gone full circle, and doing what I'm doing now, when I look back at where I started from, there is no Ella without 𝗏𝘓𝐻𝑃𝐻𝑖 or panels or 𝘱𝑠𝑜. There is no Ella without hymns and the entrepreneurship classes that we used to have. There is no Ella without a competition. We went to Bamenda and failed and came back, and we had a teacher telling us, you guys are not failures, you guys will do great things. And I just want to give them their flowers. I don't want to wait for them to die. I want to give them their flowers and say that you should incorporate that attitude of sitting under people. A lot of Cameroonians don't have that. I had to learn that in Nigeria, but we don't have that apprenticeship spirit where you will stay under people and learn and keep learning. And even when you have finished your apprenticeship, you still find yourself in a position where you can sit and hit your chest and say, without this person, there will be no me. Uncle Silas is a phenomenal marketplace leader. And as I continue to learn and to drink under them, I am encouraging each and every one of us to learn to sit under people. It might not be a business, it might not be a pastor, it might be anybody. Just learn to just have that apprenticeship spirit in you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Auntie Doris. Thank you, Pastor Silas. Thank you, Pastor Doris.
I am 𝗏𝘓𝐻𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗏. I practice medicine. I'm also a professor in organizational management. But I'm so grateful to God because today I've been much more converted, and I would like to go for the baptism. One of the challenges we've experienced as far as prayer is concerned, and maybe Cameroon as a whole, when the madness of entrepreneurship came in maybe 2010, you see everyone is more portfolio CEO and this, and truthfully, I ran away from Monico because it was much more of disturbance. But I'm grateful to God that with programs like Legacy, stuff that was at the REMA, and many other programs that have been coming up, I see that transformation from the individual perspective. I see people are not just focused much more on, they're not just focused much more on maybe the title they have, or maybe maybe they're elites, or because of what they have in their pocket. I see much more young people come because they identify themselves who they are and who they are and what they were meant to be, and they're doing just that. So I want to say a great thank you to our coaches and mentors, our facilitators who have been in this journey, and we see the process going day after day, and many much more are joining this great train for the transformation of Cameroon. God bless you and God bless us. Thank you.
I came here because of her. She picked for Mr. Camille, so I'm really grateful to Maya. And also, I came here, I was reluctant, I was in school. I was kind of feeling feverish and very reluctant to come at first. And one had said come, and another one said don't come. So I was like, Atimaya cannot pay for me after all what she has poured in me, and then I still don't come. So I decided to come, and I've learned a lot from Uncle Silas, Pastor Boris, and also Auntie Doris. And my take-home message is not everyone is called to be a leader. Honestly, but I've been having this kind of pressure of like, everybody wants, in fact, the kind of part I mingle with, most of them that are like, they're into something and they're into wanting to be CEO. I've been having this pressure of like, you also need to do something. Yeah, but now like this, I've learned that not everyone is called to be a leader, and sometimes you just need to, you should serve and also just relate to the vision. When you meet the people that they have the same vision like you, can serve under them and also be. So that was what I did.
You did it right by saying that the CEO thing is not everyone else is supposed to be a CEO. Yes, that's the one I was really talking about. Not everyone is called to be a CEO, but everybody is called to be a leader. When you get into that vision, you are a leader and lead in that vision, but not necessarily being the one that is at the forefront to start something.
So I got to meet Pastor Boris. I've been hearing a lot about him. Also, Auntie Doris, Pastor Silas, nice meeting you guys. Thank you so much for the leadership breakfast. I thought it was just like maybe ordinary breakfast for my drink tea. I never knew they were going to teach about leadership. And this reminds me of some weeks back. I used to admire Prophet Nehemiah so much because he has been a great leader. Though he wasn't a leader before, he was just, let me say, a cupbearer, but he became a leader. So he taught me a lot that I should not give up on my visions. I can also become a great leader like Nehemiah. No matter where I come from, I should be ready to serve and also learn from those who are higher than me, and I will become a great leader. So thank you so much. Though I didn't eat the breakfast, but I'm eating a leadership teaching. Thank you so much.
Mr. Silas, thank you for your lead from the heart. Yeah, thank you. You and your team are doing this. The panel session was everything. So, I did not have a presentation, but I will try to. I've not been talking about buying today, so I know it in my fingertips. I'll just do what I can do. And I'll follow with the theme of the event, which is leadership. So I'll try to make my presentation a bit in that way. So Vyam is an online market. We permit vendors in Cameroon, young people, local businesses, the people you know, to come and sell on the platform while others can buy. We have over 50,000 users on the platform. So there are these people who come to the app to look for what they want to buy. Now we permit you vendors to sell your products to them. So we are empowering the Cameroonian trade, the Cameroonian market to aid vendors. So you don't come on the platform, maybe like Amazon, and you see foreign things you don't understand. It's the people around. That's the core of what buying does. We have other petty things now. I'm coming to leadership as well. We have other petty things like Seller. Seller now is to empower vendors who do not have shops. So there are a lot of vendors who sell online. A lot of people who buy and sell, meaning if I post something on my status, I'm a vendor, I'm selling online, I post on my status, somebody wants to buy, I have to contact somebody maybe in Douala that I need to send this thing to my clients. So we aid those type of people by giving them a market. So Bayam has two markets. There's a market for retail and there's a market for wholesale. Wholesale is for vendors, so that they have more products and they also have an extensive shop for themselves. Not limited to the products they have in their small petty market that they really have. We give them these for them. And also a market, more customers. You know, when you're selling online, you're limited to maybe your WhatsApp status views or your Facebook friends, or Bayam gives you an extension of what you really have. What else? Now, leadership. Bayam has introduced a new feature in October, ending October, where youth, I'm sure we will mostly have youth doing this, where they can now lead the market in Cameroon by registering other vendors and growing. We call it downlines. You could call it affiliate marketing, where you earn by referrals. So we call it the downlines. You register other shops around you and you get paid. So we are helping other students who might not even be interested in business. They can also make profit out of that. So we are trying to make Bayam to be for everybody. Remember before what I just said, you think that if you are not a vendor, it's not for everybody. Everybody can learn online. I'm sure most of us say, let me just ask you a quick question. Is who sells online? Who sells products online? You see, there are a few. I mean, the whole crowd, we must have sold something online. And probably we found it hard to get a customer for that product. The buyer gives you that opportunity. Another thing too is, when you post your products online, it's not limited just to maybe you post your product, you wait that way somebody wants something from you. We try to push your products to the top front of the market. Meaning we make sure that even the petty vendors they benefit. It's not only the grand businesses like 𝘱𝘂𝗶𝗰 or maybe the Santa Lucia that are online. We make sure that everybody does what they have. So about leadership, you get paid from registering vendors around you, and when they post products on the app, when they make sales, so it's like a long-term, leadership program. Because for you to earn, you need to empower we call them the downlines. We call them downlines. You being an upline, you empower your downline so that as they make more sales, you earn. So that's leadership. Alright, so Bayam is here to empower and change the way we do marketing in Cameroon. You don't need to go out there to the market to buy things anymore. You don't need to maybe you come to somebody's house to see a nice furniture, a nice chair, a nice maybe a table lamp, and you go to the market and you cannot find it. No, come on, Bayam, you can search for it. We also have AI introduced to the platform. There are a lot of AIs that are introduced. Just to name a few, you can open the app. Just my phone is there for that. Maybe go on implementation. If you saw that table lamp I just mentioned in your friend's house, whatever, you can take a picture of that lamp. Maybe you did not even know the name. You can take a picture of that product and use it to search for that product on the platform. And similar products or even that particular product will appear. So that you don't need to go through many searches and you cannot find it. So we are trying to introduce this to just a small AIs that you can maybe understand. And another thing that I think you can understand is, I'm sure you know, for those who use TikTok, there is a For You page. So we have recommendations which will also go for you can buy. So depending on the type of products you'll be buying, or the type of searches you'll be making, we'll be suggesting similar products to you. So We are trying to make it as friendly as possible. We are trying to make it as local as possible. We are trying to make it as, tech updated as possible so that we are moving with the digital market. So that's what Bayern does. And now that we are a community supporting each other, I think I have 5 minutes of explaining myself. Yes, it's left about 30 seconds. Can we quickly pick up our phones and download the Bayern? I believe it's for everybody. It's not heavy. I'm sure there are some people who will say my phone is full. I don't have that. That is 6 megabytes. You download the app, test it, and trust me, I believe everybody here will benefit from it because it's for all of us. It's for me too. I sell chicken online, so that's just a side, but I work for Bayern full time. I started selling chicken because I knew Bayern would help me do this. I never had time initially, but once Bayern introduced the seller. And by the way, I did not mention, seller is vendors who are actually existing. It's not us. Bayern sells nothing. We only permit you to benefit as vendors. So Bayern sells nothing. It's for vendors who have come as wholesalers. People importing from China, Turkey, all of those people, they come in wholesale, right? So they help you to do business. Thank you, Lead from the heart, for this opportunity, and hopefully we all benefit from this. Thank you.
Alright, so how many of us here know that we are saved by grace? You are here because of grace. You left your house this morning, you came here because God saved you, and you are alive today to even participate here because God saved you. Don't mind the mic. So you're just going to just tune your heart to God and just partner with what He wants to do this morning. The song says, "But for your grace, I could not be saved." Amen. But for your grace, I could not be saved. But for your grace, I would go my way. I'm forever grateful that you have been faithful to me, Lord. But for your amazing grace, but for your grace, I could not be saved. But for your grace, I would go my way. I'm forever grateful that you have been faithful to me, Lord, for your amazing grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oh, I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Let's do it together. But for your grace, I could not be saved. But for your grace, I would go my way. I'm forever grateful that you have been faithful to me, Lord, for your amazing grace. Can you just ponder on that for a moment? For the grace of God and how He loves you so much. It's because of the grace of God that we are all here. He loves us so much. He knew what you needed today. And He sent these people to just minister to you. God, you're so good. Yes, Lord. We choose to partner with what you are doing in our lives. And we choose to say that we are not just here on earth to just exist. We are here because of a purpose. We are here because you chose us and you formed us after your image, and you said, go into the world and make disciples. And here we are with our gifts. We have chosen that we are going to serve, and we will serve others. Simply devoted to you, oh Lord. I live my life to follow you. The life that I live is not I that live. For me to live is Christ.
So far, March, January, February, March. Okay, but before that, we are going to have the vision quest, which is going to take place on 31st January, February. If you have been going through it, I'm sure that that information is already there for the vision quest.
How was the leadership breakfast?